Hi everyone, welcome to Carmen's Australian Storytime. Today I'm going to read Have You Filled a Bucket Today? A Guide to Daily Happiness for Kids, written by Carol McLeod and illustrated by David Messing. Let's find out what this book's about. I'm curious. What buckets are they talking about? This heartwarming book encourages positive behaviour by using the concept of an invisible bucket to show children how easy and rewarding it is to express kindness and appreciation and love by filling buckets. Okay, so the buckets are invisible. It is talking about your heart bucket, your feelings, because when someone fills your bucket, it can make you feel really good. And when someone dips into your bucket, it can make you feel really bad. I can't wait to read this book and find out different ways that we can fill people's buckets. All day long, everyone in the whole wide world walks around carrying an invisible bucket. Have you ever thought about the fact that every single person in the whole world has an invisible bucket, a heart bucket, that needs to be filled? We all have positive and negative feelings and emotions, and these are very important for everyone. We always need to check on each other's buckets to make sure they stay full. You can't see it, but it's there. What does it mean if something is invisible? There is visible, which is something you can see, and invisible, which is something you can't. We can't see our emotions, we feel them and show them through our body language. You have a bucket, each member of your family has a bucket. How many people are there in your family? Do you take time in your family to fill each other's buckets up? Sometimes it can be hard when you see each other every day to remember to be kind and look after each other. We tend to take each other for granted because we are there all the time. Your grandparents, friends, and neighbours all have buckets. Everyone carries an invisible bucket. It's funny to think of everyone walking around with a bucket, but it is also a good way to remember that each of us is different and unique, but we all have a bucket that needs to be filled with love and positivity. This means always being as kind as we can be and thinking of ways to help others. Your bucket has one purpose only. Its purpose is to hold your good thoughts and good feelings about yourself. You feel happy and good when your bucket is full, and you feel sad and lonely when your bucket is empty. Even though your bucket should always be full, our family and friends can often let us down and dip into our buckets. This is where communication is important. If you let people know how you are feeling, they will know to try and fill your bucket. Talking about your feelings is always a good idea. Other people feel the same way too. They're happy when their buckets are full and they're sad when their buckets are empty. It's great to have a full bucket, and this is how it works. Other people can fill your bucket and you can fill theirs. You can fill your own bucket too. So how do you fill a bucket? Making connections. I know that when I do something nice for someone, it really does make me feel good inside. It is so nice to think that by filling someone else's bucket, I am also filling my own. You fill a bucket when you show love to someone, when you say or do something kind, or even when you give someone a smile. That's being a bucket filler. Can you think of ways to fill someone's bucket? Draw a picture or write a note for someone? Help someone new at school? Help mum or dad without being asked to? Send a text or an email to someone who is lonely? Or care for a pet? What can you think of? A bucket filler is a loving, caring person who says and does nice things to make others feel special. When you treat others with kindness and respect, you fill their bucket. Sometimes I don't want to be kind. I'm tired and cranky, but I know that if I can do something nice for someone, it usually makes me feel better and ends up filling my bucket, and I don't feel tired and cranky anymore. Filling buckets can actually give you more energy and make you feel even better than you did before. But you can also dip into a bucket and take out some good feelings. You dip into a bucket when you make fun of someone, when you say or do mean things, or even when you ignore someone. That's bucket dipping. We can all be bucket dippers at times. Like I said before, it is often harder to fill buckets when you are tired or cranky or someone has taken out of your bucket earlier. But I promise you that you can change your mood around when you change someone else's by filling their bucket up with kind words. Bullying is bucket dipping. When you hurt others, you dip into their bucket. You will dip into your own bucket too. A bully is not just someone who is physically violent. A bully can be someone who teases and annoys others without being able to stop. If you do the same thing back to them, then you become a bully as well. It is so hard, but if you stay calm and tell someone, they can help you solve the problem and find out why the bully is being so unkind. Many people who dip have an empty bucket. They may think they can fill their own bucket by dipping into someone else's, but that will never work. You never fill your own bucket when you dip into someone else's. But guess what? When you fill someone else's bucket, you fill your own bucket too. You feel good when you help others feel good. I often feel sorry for bullies because, like this story says, they often have empty buckets themselves, and this makes them sad and jealous of others. They don't know how good it can feel to fill buckets instead of dipping into them. Do you know someone like that? All day long we are either filling up or dipping into each other's buckets by what we say and what we do. Try to fill a bucket and see what happens. You love your mum and dad. Why not tell them that you love them? You can even tell them why. Your caring words will fill their buckets with joy. Can you think of some ways you have filled buckets today? Draw a picture of some of the things you have done to make people around you feel good. Did it make you feel good as well? Watch for smiles to light up their faces. You will feel like smiling too. A smile is a good clue that you have filled a bucket. Making inferences. Inferences is when you can use your visual clues or things that you know to guess what's going on without using words. You can usually tell how someone is feeling without even using words. You can use your visual clues. What does their body language tell you? Are they smiling or frowning? Are they hunched over or standing straight and tall? If you practice, you'll become a great bucket filler. Just remember that everyone carries an invisible bucket and think of what you can say or do to fill it. Practice makes perfect. The more you try to be kind and do nice things, the more you will find you like it, and then before you know it, your bucket will be full, and everyone you know will have full buckets. It sounds like a much nicer place than a world full of empty buckets. What do you think? Here are some ideas for you. You could smile and say hi to the bus driver. He has a bucket too. You could invite the new kid at school to play with you. Your challenge. This week I challenge you to fill at least 3 buckets a day. Keep a daily record of the nice things you have done, and at the end of the week share the list with your mum, dad or carer. Think about how you felt when you did these nice things and how full you think your bucket is by the end of the week. You could even ask them to do it as well and trade your lists at the end of the week. You could write a thank you note to your teacher. You could tell your grandpa that you like spending time with him. There are many ways to fill a bucket. Do you think doing nice things needs to cost money? I don't. What can you say to someone right now that might fill their bucket? I think you could say, I love you, I think you could say, "You are such a good friend," or "I like the way your hair looks today," or "Is that a new dress?" or "Wow, you caught a fish that big." There are lots of simple ways you can fill someone's bucket. And by the way, has someone filled your bucket up today by saying something kind to you? Bucket filling is fun and easy to do. It doesn't matter how young or old you are. It doesn't cost money. It doesn't take much time. And remember, when you fill someone else's bucket, you fill your own bucket too. The next time you get really angry or upset with someone, why don't you stop before you react and think about something nice you could say instead? This may be one of the hardest things you ever do, but it will make you stronger, and oftentimes it makes the other person feel terrible for upsetting you because you still filled their bucket. When you're a bucket filler, you make your home, your school, and your neighborhood better places for all. Bucket filling makes everyone feel good. It would be like a chain reaction. If you are kind to someone, they will be kind to someone, and soon it will spread. Everyone is filling buckets by being kind and helping each other. Wouldn't that be a great place to live in? So why not decide to be a bucket filler today and every day? Just start each day by saying to yourself, "I am going to do something to fill someone's bucket today." And at the end of each day, ask yourself, "Did I fill a bucket today?" The best part about it all is it is all in your control. Nobody can make you be a bucket filler, but don't you think it is much better than dipping out of buckets and feeling completely miserable? Yes, I did. That's the life of a bucket filler. And that's you. Making predictions. What do you think your life will be like if you are always positive and filling other people's buckets? Do you think you would be happy? The author and the illustrator. The author is the person who writes the story, and the illustrator is the person who draws the pictures. I am always curious about what they look like and what made them write or draw the book. Thank you for joining me today to read this book. I hope that it has made you want to go and do something nice for someone you know or don't know to fill their bucket. I am so happy you read this with me today, and I look forward to hearing your comments. Please subscribe if you would like to read more books with me. See you next time.